Good morning and welcome to the 9:30 call. We are actually pre-recording this call, so we are coming to you live on Monday night and for the Tuesday morning call. And this is our first in the series of interviewing our Advocacy Network participants. We are in cohort 3. It just started in September, and this is probably the earliest that we've had members of the cohort join us on the 9:30 call, but we couldn't wait to start with Harold and Paula. And I'm sure Titus can give us more information on the call, but we are excited to start this interview. So Harold and Paula, why don't we start with the 9:30 call question? Tell us a little bit about each of you, and then maybe how you became partners in this business.
Sure. Thank you for having us over here, and I think the whole story begins with Paula with the love of it for the love of education. So go ahead, honey.
I'm from Colombia. I came to this country 20 years ago. I have a bachelor degree in education. And when I moved to this country, I moved to New York and I started working as a nanny for people in Manhattan and the New York City area. And I had my son, and I started realizing how hard it is to have a kid when you don't have relatives or any support from family. So being a child care provider for another family, I start figuring out what I'm gonna do with my son. With people who work those hours, there are no the same hours as the childcare programs.
Sure.
So I start thinking on a solution for myself and thinking there are gonna be more families in the same situation. They don't have that support.
And especially because you had some situations where she had her son in childcare, right? And she was leaving her job to pick up her son, and maybe there was traffic or you missed the bus or something like that, and she will get in trouble because that place definitely closed, and whoever is not there, they will call the police to go and pick up the kids.
So that was very painful because they think I was a not good mom.
Yeah.
So how can it be possible when I was working? So I ended up moving 7 years ago here to Massachusetts when I met my husband. We got married.
Yeah, we met in New York City and through friends and all that. And when we started dating, we said that we're gonna get married, and we started thinking about, well, since the beginning, she told me, like, if we're gonna move to Massachusetts, I want a house that I can put a daycare there, a child care business there. So, and we started looking for houses with a good backyard and all the things that she had in her mind of how the program will look like. So we got married in 2016, and we purchased the house that same month, and we moved in the following month in August. And I was working in corporate in a manufacturing facility here in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I was an engineering a planner, a project manager for engineering department. I'm my original trade is industrial engineering. So looking at Paula, how passionate when she started the job in 2018, that's when we formalized the business. She started working right away with some of the kids that she was doing a part-time job over here when she moved, and then she ended up enrolling it into her program and started there. So we started as a private since day one. We did met with a couple of programs to get the feeling about the voucher, the agencies and stuff like that, but we didn't have the need to, because we were filled with you fill it up with 6 kids right away.
In 2 weeks we were full.
In 2 weeks she was full. So going back to 2018, 19, then the pandemic hit in 2020. I started working from home. And I was seeing like first thing how passionate she was about this.
We never closed during the pandemic. We were an emergency child care provider for that time. So we were lucky to have that experience.
Yeah.
That was scary like everybody else. Yes. But I think we need to step up to help my parents. My parents are all nurses, doctors, and they had to be there. And I was I didn't talk to Harold. I took the decision by myself. I said, if we close, how are they gonna go to work?
Right, right.
The kids. And I filled out the application. When I send the application, I say, "Oh God, what happened if you get sick?
Yeah.
What
Right.
happened if you get sick? How our insurance cover?" Well, I don't know, but I already sent it, and they say yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were lucky. We had that experience,
We
and we
were,
couldn't help.
The first under the first 100 childcare providers that were approved to be emergency
Wow.
care in the States. We're like
Well,
80.
and you're right. What a different scenario for family childcare providers, which we said at the time, where you were welcoming people into your home with your
Yeah.
other family members, and the stakes were so high. And I know, the 9:30 call started back then, so just we so appreciate that. We were with you, even if we didn't know you yet, and supporting you in that work. So Paula, tell us now, how many children are you serving, and what are your hours? Just tell us a bit more about the program.
We have 10 kids enrolled. Our hours is from 7:30 to 5, but those are the standard hours. So
Right.
if the parents have different hours, they have to drop the kid at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, no more than 12 hours, because that's the
That's the
regulation.
regulation,
So,
correct.
but if they have to work on Saturdays or holidays, and they
Yeah.
tell us on time, with time ahead, we work for them. Because I know how difficult it is to find a reliable childcare,
Yeah.
and they have the confidence, and the kids are secure and they know us. So we are here for them, because I was in the shoes sometimes. I didn't have nobody.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes it's very, very demanding, but at the end it's rewarding.
Yeah.
Because when they call you and they say you are like, wow, if you don't have you, who else
Well,
gonna take care of the kids? I
Right.
say, oh,
Yeah, because from
We're
the beginning,
family.
Paula decided, okay, let's be flexible on hours, because that's the service that I want to provide, because that's what she
Right.
didn't have when she had the need.
Right.
So since day one, we had parents from the medical field, doctors, nurses, especially from Bay State area. We're in Springfield, Massachusetts, and Bay
Right.
State Medical Hospital is big over here. So
Right.
and all the other hospitals around. And we started having, I would say 80-90% of our parents since 2018 are being from the medical field.
Wow.
So we provide that service. If they're on call on a weekend, we'll take the kid. If you have to go to work and do whatever he needs, because we're here to provide you a service.
yeah, sometimes they are scared to tell us. They say, if you don't have nobody else, don't call it. Call me anytime,
Right.
Yep.
any hour.
Yeah, it has happened. We
That
can tell you
happened.
some crazy hours.
Well, you can feel your passion and commitment through the Zoom. Tell us a little bit about kind of, how did you get connected to the Advocacy Network? And when you think about being family child providers, where do you find support? We talked a little bit about this, like, where do you get information, and how do we take all the lessons that you've learned and thinking about that? But first,
Okay.
tell us, how did you get to the Advocacy Network?
Well, that was a very a good experience. As a child care provider, you had to be in professional development. You had to be always looking for classes. We know
Right.
how to stick to the 30 hours per year. We had to keep our license. I like to find more things to do. So I ended up in a Springfield Community College taking classes.
Yeah.
And met a Marcella Simpson,
Yeah.
and she ended up being my coach and mentor. So
Marcella told us about
the affinity group.
The affinity group. Actually, we belong to the affinity group and all that. And it was one time that Titus went and talked to us about the Advocacy Network at the affinity group, and that's where we started learning a little bit about you guys, the Strategy for Children,
Right.
and the Network.
So we saw that invitation, Advocacy Network, and said, "Wow, we don't know the language. We don't know these people. I'm kind of scared."
Yeah.
And also because my accent, so I always behind. And I say, no, I don't want to be participant and what people gonna tell. But Marcella always encouraged me. They say,
Right.
you all have potential. Many people can be following you, because you can be the leader in the Spanish community. And many people don't take the risk. Panic sometimes, but also I like this so much, and I want my colleagues be succeed in this field, and they look like they the people around us look as a professional in education, not like a nanny or babysitters, or they think that imagine the programs, they're gonna watching TV all day. And that's not true. There are many people really good in this business and this education, they afraid to speak. So I think I'm gonna be their voice and I'm gonna be there for them. So
and then when we finally met with Titus and Jaylis to start working about this to see if we were going to participate, it was very rewarding for us at the end when they were telling us all the different projects that you guys do, the different people that go in and what you do exactly. And I'm like, Paula, we're doing this already. We're in our own little way, in our own little world, but we are doing this. We're connecting with people. We're trying to find solutions and try to also raise the bar of the quality of our of the education of our program. So it was really, really nice to connect with you guys.
And you are our first husband and wife team that we accepted into our advocacy network. And so, you know, as we said in the beginning, it's been a short time. We had meetings in September, October, November, and December. So you're about 4 months in. Can you talk a little bit about your reflections? What has it been like to be part of the network? It's a statewide network, so we know there are other people from the 413, but what has the experience been like so far?
Well, I can tell you that we have learned maybe more like the terminology and the way we can do things and how can we perfect the things that we were already doing.
Right.
Or even realize that, hey, this is advocacy. I'm doing this, and I didn't know that this was advocacy. You know, for example, I can give you the aha moment or the really good experience that we had in our affinity group. We had we were all discussing how much was the impact from the pre-K, the UPK, universal pre-K to the Springfield public schools, and how it's impacted directly to
the family child care business. And Springfield and Boston. Where that's implemented already.
And a lot of our colleagues in the group, in the affinity group, they were losing kids because they were moving to the universal pre-K. And wow, it's tough because it's tough to go against a free childcare versus, you know, you have to pay something. Even if you're getting a voucher, you still have to provide for that. So and it was difficult, and we ended up one of our mothers, their parents over here, they work in the Springfield public school, and we ended up connecting with her. And we connected to the supervisor of the universal pre-K in a Springfield public school. And we had that person coming to the affinity group and talking to us, and explaining to us like the whole background, since you guys were talking about it in 2004 or whatever, all that it took, all the different service you did to come up with this whole program. And it was never the intention to harm us, you know, to harm our business. It was more focused to kids that were never been in a setting, in a childcare setting before. But you know, once it opened up, it went crazy. But it was very rewarding, and now, okay, we understand that side of it, and we were able to make that connection for us and our group. And then talking to Titus and Jaylis, then that's advocacy. Then we didn't know, but it was good.
We've also talked about, and you talked a little bit about it, Paula, about for Spanish-speaking folks. And so in the Advocacy Network, you know, we're just starting to now talk about a project. And you both have brought this up about, you know, how do we make sure information is accessible and is connected to the work that people are doing? Because I think that, and what you did around the Springfield UPK was to get more information, go right to the source, right? That's what we talk about all the time in Advocacy 101. So as you're thinking about kind of the kind of next few months in the Advocacy Network and picking a project, can you talk a little bit more, and this might not be your final project, but what you're thinking about helping to bring kind of more language access to folks who are doing the work?
Well, right now I'm developing a PLC, a professional learning community. It's a partnership with Strong Star and Holy Community College. I started in January, my third class now. It's about marketing your business, the art of marketing your business and family child care. And
completely in Spanish.
in Spanish.
Yeah.
So we already did 2. This is gonna be our third group.
Yeah.
And it's another one for February as well. So, and we are developing the second part of that one.
Yeah.
So the second part, the first one is more the business, how marketing your business, and the second one as a educator and business owner, how you marketing yourself and you have your profile and LinkedIn. And all the rest, all the classes or all the groups you had to belong to have all the information.
And had to be an advocacy of yourself and the education that you provide.
Right.
So that's our goal for that. And there's a lot of other ideas that we want to develop in Spanish so we can provide that to our community.
And that's been one of the most exciting things to see the first 2 cohorts go through. We know that in Boston, Gloria, who is a family child care provider, started a BIPOC learning community. She just recently sent us a picture. They all got hoodies. They've been continuing to meet, and so many of the innovations that we saw through COVID, thinking about like how do we keep that going, and certainly through the Advocacy Network, it's been great to see people being able to take action on things they have thought about for a long time. In some ways, the Advocacy Network is kind of delivering on a dream that I had when I started at Strategies, because I've had the benefit of being in groups like this and being in learning communities and getting kind of just enough training and support so I understand things, and then thinking about how I can use my voice or how I can encourage other people to join me. When you think about what policy makers should know, and we know that right now we've seen historical investments, we've seen so many more elected officials visiting, understanding early education and care. But what would you want policymakers to know right now, either just about your program or family child care in general?
Well, one of the policies they want to know is that the few spots for infants and family child care. I know it's so difficult, but if we receive calls every day and we have to say, no, we don't have the spots. And when it's an infant, it's only 3 we can have because we are, I have an assistant. But it's so difficult for families to go to work where they don't have the infants, somebody take care of them. So I don't know how we're gonna come out with that and changes. It's one of the things more important. Infants are not so covered in every facility. And people who has the spot, they don't take the infants because it's more job, it's more work. So they take the toddlers. So every time is pushing away those families, and parents are struggling for money and bring the income home. They don't have nobody to take care of them.
And in relation to that, my maybe limited knowledge about the whole policy and everything, but I'm like, okay, if Paula by herself can have 6 kids, and now that she have me as an assistant, why cannot we have 12 between the 2 of us? If we have the space, I understand there's limited space, but if we have the space, our place is secure, our program is secure and all that, why cannot we have 2 extra ones? Because on the business side, 2 extra kids, it makes a difference for, this is our only income. This is our job. This is how we provide food to our family. So 2 more children in our program will definitely make the difference. And that is something that I would love to have a discussion, or be part of that discussion if they're having it right now.
I think, the Rennie Center was on the call a while ago asking the question, what happens in early education, or what do early educators do that they don't even think about that K to 12 can learn from? But one of the things we know early educators do across the program's prototypes are you're constantly thinking about your numbers, about where you have an opening, because you can only have a certain number of infants, especially in family child care. You can only have, if a preschooler leaves, it might look different what you need when a toddler comes in. So I think that's another piece, and it's always happening, right? There's no end date where you're like, that's it, we're done. It's a constant kind of calculations that you're doing, looking at your own wait list, looking at what might be available, looking what your family's wants and need. Can you quickly tell the story you shared with me about the mom who wanted you to move to Colorado?
Yes.
Of course. So we have this mom that she was
Doing her
her
residency
residency at
Bay
Bay
State.
State. And she when she came over here, she had a child. It was a 7-month-old premature kid. So and it was 2 months old when we got him. So we started taking care of him and all that. And she was so thrilled that not only we were taking care of her son, but also the
About her.
flexibility of the hours and
Right.
also about her too.
You were
Because
taking
there
care of
was
her
some
too,
time
yeah.
that she came to pick up the kid and it was kind of late and you can tell that she's been working like for
24
24
hours.
hours straight or something like that. And we're like, no,
You can drive.
you cannot drive in this condition.
You had to stay
And
here.
we put her in my son's room and she slept like for 4 hours before she can live because we couldn't. It's a risk. I mean, I
Right.
don't want to have an accident or anything like that. So it really became a
Family.
family for us. And then one day she sat her down and said, "Hey, guys, I need to talk to you. I'm gonna invite you for dinner." And we went and sit down for
I
dinner.
say, oof, there's nothing bad
It's
because
not
if
ba-
it's dinner in the middle,
Right.
it's bad.
Who knows? Right.
So because she's a single mom, she had her first son through in vitro. She wanted to have a second child because only if we were being able to taking care of, and if we have the spot available for her. And we were like, wow,
Wow.
this is so crazy. At the beginning, when she said, I want to have a second child, Paula looked at me and like, is she asking for a donation or something like that? So it was amazing.
It was shocking when somebody's planning their life
Their life.
based
Right. Over.
based on us
based
because
on
she
childcare,
say because I
yeah.
know you guys, I want a second child, but if you take care of that,
Yeah.
I say, of course.
Otherwise, I'm not gonna do it. At least not.
Right.
And she ended up having the second child, and we started taking care of both of them and all that. And then
She finished the
when
residency.
her residency ends or was about to end, she came and talked to us and said, "Hey, I'm moving back to Colorado. I got my dream job over there in a children's hospital. So
I want you.
I want you guys move with me." And
What?
she put a contract in front of us for 6 years, for 4 years,
For
for
four.
4 years, with basically what we were making here for 6 kids. She was gonna pay us to
For
move
6
over there.
kids.
And she said, you can open the daycare over there.
You open the program.
The
When you
program.
get your license, you can have another 4 kids because she
Yep.
has 2. But I'm gonna end up paying for 6 for 4 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you get another kids. And
So-
I said yes. And I sell all my toys from the backyard. But we ended up
Paula started selling things and all that. It was crazy. But
when we went there
we
for
went,
the house.
yeah, we took a trip to Colorado Springs and started looking for houses and all that. And the pricing of the houses, it was astronomical that compared to Springfield, Massachusetts, and we couldn't afford it, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's why we ended up staying and growing this business. But it was amazing. We had another parent, not a few like a month ago, that he just found out that the mom was pregnant.
He didn't call the
He
family.
didn't call the family, the brother, sister, the parents, nobody. He came to us. Said, "Don't tell anybody, but I need you to pull me on your ready list.
Get a spot.
You have that spot available. I need to do." He was so nervous, like, I need
What
to.
are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
Right. Oh my gosh.
And you can
Uh,
tell how desperate it is for
Right.
the parents
That's right.
to find a good, reliable family child care
One
provider.
of the family as well. We have one kid is here. Is gonna leave next year in September.
Yeah.
So the parents are calculating when they kids going to the school had another one. So now she's pregnant and the child is
Right.
leaving and
Yeah.
the sister is gonna take the spot.
They're
So
doing the
it's
whole
incredible.
family planning depending
Like
on
back to
when your
those
kid left this
calculations. Oh
program,
my
and
gosh.
it's crazy. It's
It
crazy.
is. As we wrap things up, a question that we're asking this week on the call is, what is your hope for children and families in 2024?
Well, the hope for them is we can start touching those lives. I know it's only 10 kids, but we can make the difference.
That's true.
Every 10 kids, every 10 families, they pass in our program. Is somebody we touch, we put the seeds to be better in the future.
That's true.
If we give it all the skills they can develop in the future, we're doing something right, 10 by 10.
Yeah. And it's a lot of love. That's what you need, just to give love to these kids and the families. That's what we want.
Well, we are all about love here on the 930 call. It's been so wonderful spending time with you. Thank you for going first for the Advocacy Network. So excited that you could join us, that we could make this work. We look forward to seeing you, listening in, maybe tomorrow as we're playing the call, but just really want to thank you both for your, incredible passion and commitment, and for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Okay.